and thank you for joining me on another episode of Chad Sports Talk. Once again, my name's Chad as we journey into the world of sports. This is more like a continuation episode for the American expansion, which had a lot of comments with that, and I truly appreciate the feedback from everyone on this particular subject. Lets me know that everyone's passionate to see how the college landscape proceeds in the future. As we all know, Texas Oklahoma kind of started this whole conference realignment thing again, with them departing the Big 12 for the SEC. Still no time frame for when they're exactly leaving. And we all know that the Big 12 then this went after BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, UCF. Now we know that Texas Oklahoma can leave no later than 2025. That's when their agreement runs out. There's a $75-80 million buyout that I'm sure Texas Oklahoma will do and leave beforehand. One of the things that will probably help drive that is when the new members of the Big 12 join. BYU has officially announced it will enter the league in 2023, giving the Big 12 11 members of Oklahoma, Texas still remain. And Cincinnati, Houston, UCF can enter no later than July 1st of 2024. Unless they do some type of buyout, but I think for them, their safe bet is to just wait until that time frame, and I think that's when you'll probably see Texas and Oklahoma officially arrive in the SEC after doing their buyout. So it kind of goes with, what's ACC do? I mean, the American do. And my previous video, which had me picking UAB, Appalachian State, UTSA, and Rice for the American to add. I had conceded that Rice was part of a stretch, and while athletically they offer nothing, academically they're AAU school, which bodes well because that's a Big Ten requirement to get into the conference. And they do have at large media market, Houston being 8th in the Nielsen rankings. That's one of the reasons why I picked that, but in hindsight, I decided to go with FAU as the other choice to be selected. Now, today, I did find an article on CBS Sports talking about the American targeting Mountain West powers, along with some others, and the number one being Boise State. And Boise State always seems to be on the top of everyone's radar. And also looking at possible Air Force, Colorado State, and San Diego State. Now, that's, going out west is very interesting because I think the Mountain West is looking at trying to expand. So it's definitely going to be a tug of war between the group of 5 schools to find out who's going to come on top. And if Boise State leaves the Mountain West, that would really hamper the Mountain West's attraction and getting a new TV contract. Now, Boise State and San Diego State is no stranger to being associated with the American. Many of you may not remember that Boise State and San Diego State were about to join the Big East as football-only members, with the Boise State going to the WAC for basketball and San Diego State to the Big West. Now we're here again. And like I said, it's very interesting. Boise State definitely brings football recognition to the conference that will be missing once Cincinnati, Houston, UCF leave. And that's definitely what the American needs to do, is to grab one of these, grab the next big, or the next Power 5 school out there to boast their appeal for a very generous TV contract. Now, also within the same article, they've also mentioned that the Big 12 may not be done expanding, and that Memphis and Boise State are at the top of their list. So it's definitely a tug of war for Boise State, and Boise State find themselves in a very, very nice situation where 3 conferences may want them. So it looks very well for Boise State, and congrats to them. I mean, their football program definitely deserves it. They're definitely one of the of the group of five and need to be recognized. And we all know San Diego State is getting a brand new football stadium uh, out there, so that would really help them out. Of course, it's downgraded from what they were used to in terms of capacity, but it's definitely something that's needed in there as well. And with this article, they're kind of looking at also UAB. You of course remember Mountain West. It's kind of on the short list as well. We're not a member of the Mountain West. And UAB is definitely a very good one because they're definitely in that college hotbed of Birmingham, Alabama, the new Field Protective Stadium, which is due to open October 2nd. And it'll definitely be a very good idea for them to do that because they're also another football program on the rise, doing quite well since their little sabbatical. And the American needs to make sure to keep their footprint, their gas pedal, their foot on the gas pedal, moving forward to get that recognition because in football, especially in this new system of the college football playoffs in the past 7 years, they've earned 5 of the 7 slots. Actually, their 5 slots are divided up between the 3 teams that are leaving. So that leaves the American kind of struggling, trying. Okay, now we need to get back in here. And this articles also kind of went, maybe the ACC definitely should get up to 12, which means adding 4 teams with Boise State and UAB be the top two. And then after that, it's FAU and UTSA, which is 2 more schools I've also pretty much mentioned. It pretty much says that both are seen as, by some ACC officials, as having the potential to becoming the new UCF. It's kind of a bold statement, but you never know. Emerging programs with a large football demand markets, FAU is in Boca Raton, which is right outside Miami, and UTSA in San Antonio, Texas, and Texas is associated with football. That could make a national splash under right conditions. And that's absolutely true. Um, Given the right talent, the right coaches, I guess the right schedule, they'll definitely make themselves look quite big on the national stage. And then you get to one of those New Year's Six bowls, or definitely bowl against a major program. Does an upset, then it increases their footprint tenfold in the national spotlight. So you definitely want to look at them, and they'll be the new shiny toy that everyone wants to have. But that's not some of the other ones they're not also considering. Like I said, Air Force, definitely a good aspect to try to maybe bring them in as well because they already got that rivalry with Navy, so you get 2 to 3 service academies in. But like I said, I don't think Army will be joining because they don't want Army Navy game moved out that final week where they're the only game on TV, so they're the lone focus of the national spotlight. So Air Force would be definitely an interesting one. Colorado State being on there. Like I said, they've built new facilities, but right now their football program is on the downhill again. And Colorado State is kind of one of those type of programs that do go up and down as they climb up the mountain and go down the other side. But they kind of get a little bit close to the Denver market. But like I said, right now their football program's on the downhill slope. I think it's just a matter of time for they start climbing back up again. That's just how that program operates. San Diego State, I think it's like definitely a stretch. But as we all know, geography doesn't play into a factor anymore in college realignment. Americans got to come up with something that kind of puts them out there as well. And with the list that's out there, on the CBS article, which is like I said, Air Force, Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, UAB, and FAU, and UTSA. Um, While I like the idea of them going west, I don't think it's really feasible for them to kind of attack, not really attack, but grab the school, especially if they go after, grab the three out of the Conference USA, UAB, FAU, UTSA. So let's say you grab Boise State. Now you got a conference game in Boise. Then you got to go down to Boca Raton, then up to Philadelphia, then to Memphis, then San Antonio, Tulsa. I mean, it's a stretch for them to go from Boise to South Beach. I mean, it really is. I mean, but does get Boise State's name recognized early because it'll be on earlier games, so it'll definitely be beneficial for them in that aspect. And it keeps the American name out there because now they're also playing the late games. I mean, extremely late games on the West Coast, so they still got some focus from the West Coast riders. It's a double-edged sword with this one. It really is. I think Boise State wants to be included. It wants to be part of the at the grown-ups table with all the other Power Five schools. Maybe it's waiting for the Pac-12 to come calling. Maybe the Big 12 comes calling. I mean, it's one of those that could come out there. So it's kind of hard for me to see like Boise State, San Jose State getting added. I think it's too far west for them to kind of really go for the American. I think as far west they probably will go will be the state of Colorado, which leaves Air Force Colorado State. I don't really see Colorado State going because, like I said, right now their football program's on the downhill slope. They have that great rivalry with Wyoming. Would that mean they lose that? Um, Air Force, I can kind of see that one as well because they got another they're out there at Colorado Springs, bringing another service academy in. So one of those two coming there, but I definitely do see UAB, FAU, and UTSA being the top three. I'm still gonna probably put my App State in there because I really like that one. It's a really good pedigree football school that I think the American definitely needs. I understand the attraction of Boise State, but I think Boise State is looking at other directions. They want to be included at that grown-up table of either the Big 12 or the Pac-12. So Boise State may not make the move, but stranger things have happened. Jose can still do some strange things. I mean, especially like I said, they lose three. What they're going to do. Um, so it's definitely some interesting aspects in that one, and it'd be really interesting to see where the American actually goes. But I do think them going to the Conference USA will probably be an easy picking for them to at least grab two of those schools out there. If they grab more, I mean that's Conference USA now. Got to start looking, but at least grab two, which I think they will with definitely UAB, and I would definitely put UTSA on top of there. And then you got FAU, definitely a good choice, and you know um, at a Mountain West school, I may not see that one as a very viable option, but like I said, you never know. It's college realignment, and it's always proven that it's wacky, it's interesting, and they may come out somewhere nowhere close to that and come up with some other option and decide to grab the Elizabeth College of the Blind of Hamilton, Ontario. I mean, you never know. I mean, it's like I said, it's a very weird time in college sports right now to find out who's going to go where, especially these contracts being renewed in about 4 or 5 years. So definitely going to see some teams making some switches, and it's definitely going to be interesting. If I find anything else out there that's interesting, especially in terms of the American, kind of give them a little extra, a little nudge, and talk about and discuss. Um, because some of you people have actually mentioned Southern Miss, which is a good choice. And someone else actually mentioned adding St. Louis as basketball. And I love that idea, adding St. Louis as a basketball only. However, with that being said, you need to add another basketball only. And if you lose Cincinnati, grab Dayton. You have St. Louis and Dayton come in. from the A10 to the American. I think that would really be beneficial for them. I mean, they definitely have their three basketball-only programs with Wichita State. Navy's only there for football, so I see that's a very very positive thing. And who knows? Like I said, it's the realignment brings out the craziest. So hey, thanks for listening to me ramble and provide you some additional information. Let me know what you think. Maybe, like I said, maybe some more suggestions out there. You might want to see better in there. Let me know. Make sure you hit that like button for me. Truly appreciate it. Hit subscribe if you wish, and I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.